Hey everybody, welcome to the channel, to the 20th episode of My Relationship with a Narc. This is an exciting new series we started here on the channel a few weeks ago, and everybody seems to really love it. A lot of great comments and a lot of support for the women who have been so gracious and so brave to come on here and share their stories with you. You know, this is not easy to get on a public forum like this and tell people about, the stuff that you've done and experienced in your past and hurts and pains and stuff. One thing I appreciate though is every single one of these women is doing everything they can to get past that and still live their best life. And I am very proud to be a facilitator of that move for them. Let's bring on Shayla, and Shayla's here to introduce herself. Hey, Ladybug.
Hey, Auntie Deb.
She's so spirited. It was like she came on, she was like, ah! I kind of jumped because she was just so energetic. I was like, oh, kind of tired. It's in the evening. Shayla was like, no, hey. So, so let's get started by telling everybody a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
I am divorced. I've been married twice. I'll be 33 this year, and I live in southeastern states. I live in Florida. However, I was raised up north in Pennsylvania.
Oh, that's a
Um, I,
big change.
oh yes, a real big change. My kids are 17. I have one that's getting ready to be 13, and then I have one that's getting ready to be 6. And I just finished nursing school not too long ago. So now I'm a nurse, and like in a career change, it was rough, but I did it, and the kids are so proud of me, and my family is too. And I'm looking forward to everything that life has to offer me at this point.
Look at you making big steps. So yeah, that's excellent. I'm glad to hear that. Look at you. Okay, well, let's start talking at the beginning, okay? Because now this is our end, and our end is like, yay. So let's start at the beginning. How did you grow up?
I was raised by my father. I was raised Jehovah's Witness from the ages of 6 until 18. And I was also a teenage mother. My dad basically raised me Jehovah's Witness, and then he got remarried to my stepmom. She's also a devout Jehovah's Witness, and that was pretty rough. I didn't have any like dating experience. My dad was really, really affectionate and loving with me, but when it came time for like teaching me like life lessons about different things as far as boys, the only thing he would say is leave them boys alone. I better not catch you talking to those boys, or I better not, see this with a boy or anything like that. And it kind of made me even more curious.
Mm-hmm.
And I was always like taught that like oh no, you can't go to school dances, you can't go to the prom, you can't talk to boys on the phone. Or it was very like Jehovah's Witnesses are very strict, and he would always tell me like, oh, you date when you're old enough to get married. You only date to get married. And even as a child, I knew that was foolishness, because I was like, what if I date somebody and I don't want to get? Some people don't want to get married.
Right.
So I was always, it was pressed on me. Don't do this because, God doesn't like this. Don't do that. Stay chaste, stay humble. So long story short, I ended up going to go stay with my mom for maybe a year or two. And what do you know? I got pregnant. Wasn't even 15 years old.
Well, it doesn't sound like anybody prepared you to not get pregnant.
Yeah.
Just you put a young girl out, a little cute little girl out there. I mean, and you don't tell her nothing. What do you think's gonna happen?
Right, right. And so I had the baby, and then after that I did finish high school, went to cosmetology school, and then I ended up pregnant again at the age of 19. Now, this time, I was no longer affiliated with Jehovah's Witnesses at all. When I turned 18, I left my dad's house. I moved out, got my own place, and I never set foot in another Kingdom Hall ever again. I was done. I said, I don't want nothing to do with this. And I knew, like,
Interesting.
yeah, because I knew from early on, like, I knew that that was not for me. And it started a downward, like, spiral of depression with me, being
Mm.
so restricted and always, I was always taught, oh, if somebody mistreats you, just pray for them and persevere. Don't fight back. Pray for them. Be nice. Be polite. And me, the kind of person I am, that I've always had a lot of fire in me, so it's not in my character to be nice to somebody that does something to me. I believe in doing evil for evil. You hurt me, I'm hurting you back, and then I'm gonna hurt you more than what you tried to do to me. And
My motto.
yeah, that's just me. And I've even taught my kids to be that way. And I was always taught, no, don't have boundaries. You're not allowed to have boundaries. Don't express your feelings. So it kind of, I want to say it was ingrained in me to always do what a man wants you to do to keep a man around. Like, religion really screws up people's brains, especially when
Ugh.
it messes you up.
So you didn't get to say no. I have a controverting opinion about anything.
No.
Okay, straight setup. Okay, Shayla, so let's move forward. So now you're 18. So now, no, 19. Okay, now you're 19. You have 2 little kids. What's your next step?
So my dad, when I was pregnant with my son, he kept pressuring me to get married to the children's father. And I knew, I said, I don't want to marry this dude. And he kept, every time I talked to him, did you go down there and get that marriage license? Did you go down there and get that marriage license? And I knew, within me and my heart, I said, this is not the dude for me to marry. Number one, we're too young. Number two, I was seeing all kind of red flags and stuff. And my dad kept saying, go down there and get married. And the reason being, he wanted me to do that so that he could tell the people at the Kingdom Hall, if they asked about me and how I was doing, oh, well, she's married, and she's pregnant, but she's married now. And so, long story short, I ended up marrying him. That was a disaster. He wasn't narcissistic per se. He was more of a cheater, still a cheater to this day. So I ended up divorcing him by the age of 22. Then I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. That was my second experience with a narc, actually. My second experience, because this guy, he was 28 years old. He was broke, and I couldn't figure out why he wanted to move along so fast in a relationship. Like, was telling me everything I wanted to hear, was real nice and sweet, but he was just broke and working at McDonald's. And then finally, come to find out, he just needed a place to stay.
A
Yeah,
hobosexual.
yeah, he was a homosexual. So after that, he ends up coming to stay with me. And then I start noticing stuff about him. I was like, I don't like this dude. I was 22, 23 at the time. I wasn't, taught nothing. So I was just going with the flow. And he's leaving all hours of the night, be gone all day. And I kept telling him, I said, you need to pay some bills up in here. That's when the arguments would start. Or whenever I would tell him how I felt about a certain way he was treating me or something he did, he would fly off into these rages and start calling me out of my name and saying all this kind of crazy stuff to me. So the one day, my neighbor that lived across from me, she said, I ain't trying to get in your business. You way younger than me, but I'm an older woman, and I'm telling you, I don't like the way he talked to you. You need to get rid of him. Like, she could hear him, like, verbally insulting me. So finally, the straw that broke the camel's back, he had threatened me one day. And then he took my keys. I had my house keys laying on the windowsill. I told him, I said, get out of my house. He had threatened me, and I said, I'm going to have you locked up. You put your hands on me. He took my keys off the windowsill, and walked out the door with him. So I sat there and I waited for him to come back. When he came back, I told him, I said, I told you I didn't want you coming back here. I said, you need to give me my keys. He had slapped me, slapped me. I ran in my bedroom. He didn't know I had a bat and some mace in my closet. I maced him and chased him up out of my apartment.
Get it, girl.
Yes, I maced him and chased him. I ran outside barefooted with a baseball bat up in the air. I was getting ready to smash his car, but he hurried up and took off. So I never seen him again after that. I ended up putting all his little stuff in his little garbage bags. I took it and put it outside on the front lawn. There's no need to knock on this door again.
Oh, that's why I say hefty trash bags, the suitcases of dusties and homosexuals everywhere.
Yes, it is. So after that, I start working again and stuff like that in Atlanta. Then I met my second husband. He was real charming and sweet at first, and he was just everything. He was so nice. He was nice to the kids. But another thing with him, he was broke too in the beginning. So we end up hooking up. We were dating. I ended up pregnant with my youngest daughter. I ended up marrying him. And I'm gonna tell you this is a real kicker. So when I was pregnant with my daughter, and he was bringing this little baby around. He was telling me the baby it was a newborn. He was saying the baby was his niece's baby or his aunt's baby, and he was babysitting for her. And I'm like, that's kind of weird. Like, okay, whatever. So I'm watching this little boy while he's going to work. And then finally one day, one of his relatives called me and she said, oh, tell him he needs to call. He got some child support papers here in the mail.
Oh, busted.
I went off on him. I actually threw a chair at him that night. And yeah, it was rough. Like, we went through it, and come to find out that was his son. And the reason he lied to me about that being his son, because he was double timing. Whenever I couldn't get in touch with him for a couple days at a time, that was because he was over his son's mom's house. And then he would stay over there for 2-3 days at a time, get into an argument with her, and then bounce back over to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And he was real conniving and manipulative. And then it got to a point where he would start saying stuff like, because I used to be almost 300 pounds. Now I'm like 131. He would say stuff to me.
Congratulations. That's a big loss.
Thank you.
Wow.
He would say stuff to me because he knew I was self-conscious about my weight. So he would say stuff to me like, oh, you fat bitch, whenever we would get into an argument. Or it would be, he would compare me to other women, like women just walking down the street or women he see in the store. And then he would say stuff to me like, oh, whenever you see somebody that look better than you, I could tell you get all upset and jealous. He even went as far as, like, I was pregnant with our daughter and I had moved out to the country in Georgia. He refused to get a job out there because he said, oh, me and you fall out too much, so I don't want to get a job out here, and then I got to run back to my sister's house in Atlanta. That was his reason for not getting a job. Then,
okay, well, let's let you just go on over there now. Why wait?
Right. So here was another issue with him. I would tell him things that was bothering me that he would do, and this is what he would say. Well, I'm going to just leave, and then that way you don't got to worry about what I do that bothers you, because I won't be here for you to deal with it. So basically that was his way of trying to stop me from voicing my concerns.
Just threaten you with the relationship, abandonment.
Right. And I was working, and only thing he did was smoke weed and play the video game. That was it. And he didn't even cook. He didn't clean up. He didn't do anything. All of this was on me. And then he would get mad if I didn't cook, or if If I skipped one night of cooking dinner, he'd get mad about that. Even like right after I had the baby, I was tired and drained and wore out because like throughout that pregnancy, I had a disorder called hyperemesis gravidarum where I just vomited nonstop. And it took, yes, I couldn't stop throwing up. And it took so much out of me to where it took me a good year after she was born to like get my energy back. He didn't help.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was horrible. He didn't help me cook. He would get mad if I was too tired, like he would want certain things from me and I'd be like, I'm tired, or the baby's up crying, and then plus I had two older kids. He was just of no help, and then he blamed me for everything. Finally, we'll put the icing on the cake with him. We were living in Florida, and something just wasn't right. I just had this feeling. I said, he's screwing around. He went and he got this job at this furniture store. And I noticed his patterns changing because this is when I started wise. I had just started watching you at that time.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, girl, I started wisening up. And I told him, I'm getting tired of driving you back and forth to work. You need to get a license. You need to get a GED. And you need to get your own transportation. I'm tired of doing everything. And so that's when his patterns started switching up. Now, he was like 37 at the time. And he basically started staying out later and then coming up with weird excuses like, oh, my manager's going to bring me home. You don't have to bring me home. Or I got a ride from my coworker, just weird stuff. But whenever he got out the car, he would be coming from around the corner. Nobody ever dropped him off directly in front of the house. Yeah, it was getting interesting. So it happened on the 4th of July. I had went to work for a couple hours and I was like, yeah, when I get off of work, we should go watch the fireworks with the kids. Meanwhile, earlier that day, he had got up around 10 or 11 o'clock, got dressed, showered, put some clothes on. And I was like, oh, you leaving? He was like, yeah, it's the 4th of July. I'm going over to my homeboy's house. And I said, okay, that's a little weird. So I got home from work that night and he still wasn't home. And I was calling him, but he wouldn't answer the phone. He would text me. So finally I said, he's messing around with some broad. And I said, I'm getting ready to tell him not to come on back home. And ever since then, he ain't been back. I think 3 days later, I was down at the courthouse filing for a divorce. I drug all his stuff outside. I busted up his mirror. I took everything out. So the next day he came and got his belongings and had a neighbor drop him off at a gas station. And the woman, I guess, picked him up from there. Now, I had paid for his attorney. He had got in some legal trouble. I paid for his attorney, okay? $5,000.
Woo!
Now, Deb, do you know he skipped the trial? He was over at this woman's house and skipped the trial. The Bell's bondsman found out where he was. I don't know how he did it, but he found out where he was. They went over there and locked his behind up from this woman's house. Now, she was 50 years old, had no idea he was married, didn't know he was in trouble with the law, didn't know nothing. And she just let him move on up in there. And then when he went to jail, he got mad at me and said that I left him hanging in the county jail. I said, no, you did that to yourself.
Good for you. Now I could tell you got that from me.
Yeah.
I know my words.
He did that to himself though, Auntie. Like you did not do the responsible thing. And then he even went low. Something else he would do when he was meeting my family, he would ask them questions about me, like when I wasn't around, like about my childhood and about my different ways and stuff like that. And then he would come back and say, oh, well, such and such and them said this about you. And your auntie said this, your dad said that. So, and what he was doing was trying to find out information about me to use as ammo against me.
Of course. That's a narc. That's in their number one arsenal.
Yes,
That's,
and
yeah,
then
that's what they do.
he told my mom one time we had actually got into a physical altercation at my mom's house. This was a mess. He finally he told my mom, he called my mom and was like, I don't love Shayla no more. I don't want her. And I got a woman that could get me a car and a flat screen TV and do this and do that. Yeah, he called my mother and told, yeah. And that was a mess. And so since I got rid of him, he has not done anything for my daughter. He's still on the run from the law. And this was 3 years ago. He's still no GED, no driver's license, and he's working like in fast food. But see, that's my thing. Like, now that I'm older and wiser, I will not deal with a man who is not on my same level. And I don't want to hear, your excuses about how hard life has been to you. Hey, we all had it hard. I went
That's
out here
right.
and did what, yeah, I went out here and hustled. I worked 2 jobs in nursing school with 3 kids, like running my own household. There's no excuse why a grown man can't get out here and do the same thing.
Tell it, girl. Tell it. That's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, so he's gone, and he'll call sometime, but I just let the phone ring. My daughter don't even ask for him. She ain't seen him since she was like 3.
Well, it doesn't sound like he's much to want to be around anyway. He might be a bad influence on her.
Yeah,
Because,
that
he'll be pumping her for information to get about you.
mhm.
And who knows what he would say to her about you or about anything. I don't know. I wouldn't trust that.
I don't trust it either, because I don't want like his narcissistic ways rubbing off on my daughter. And that's a concern that his son's mother have. His son's mother was telling me, she was like, I don't want my son being around him, and him, because she was like, what can he teach him? What, street stuff? She was like, that ain't gonna get my son nowhere, and he's already a black man growing up in America. She was like, he's not going over there with him.
Hmm. Yeah, see, she's thinking in advance. That's good. A lot of
Yeah.
women stay focused on the fact, well, I want my child to have a relationship with its father. And they only can see that, not the fact that the father is just he's a piece of crap. So he's not anything to really be, to have around it, like an impressionable young child. How is he going to benefit that child's life? That's the kind of stuff they should be thinking about, and only have your children around men like that, whether it's their father or not. It's not the fact that he's their dad that he deserves a relationship with them. Sometimes that's one of the reasons why they don't. He should be really super stepping up, and he's not. So no, I'm with you. No.
And I don't even entertain the idea of, now I look back and I be like, what was I thinking dealing with this? Like, and he just drained me. He was always accusing me of cheating on him, and I never did. And it would turn into a back and forth argument, and then, or he was always good with this, you made a video about it, the silent treatment, that game, like 1 minute everything's fine, and then the next minute they're playing this game, and then you running around trying to get stuff back to oh, he's a master at that. He just drained me so bad, and I'm still on recharge.
So how long has it been since he's been gone? You know, a couple of years.
3 years.
Okay. Well, you've been busy though. You've been going to school and stuff, so I think you probably really haven't had time to do too much recharging, because
Right.
you was on that grind. So,
Yes. Yeah.
but now you have your job and you be just cruising. It'll be all lovely. Kids are older; they can be a little more independent. You know,
Mhm.
it'll be all good.
Yes, and I'm especially proud because, like, I could have been a statistic. I could have stayed in poverty, but and I've had people doubt me over the years and say, well, how are you going to do that with 3 kids? And me, the kind of person I am, oh, really? I could show you better than I could tell you. Don't don't tell me what I can't do, because I'll do it better than you.
Get it, girl. This is great. I love it. I
Oh,
love it.
my other narc experience, it was a boy I dated when I was a teenager. I forgot to mention that. Now, he I didn't know what this was back then, but he was like real controlling and calling me all kind of names and stuff, and would always, whenever I told him about certain things that I didn't like, he would always want to break up. And he was another one, constantly in and out of the criminal justice system, and now he got life in prison. Yes, just he was just, but see, I blame his mother, because his mother, she had some real issues, like not drug or substance abuse, but she wasn't wrapped too tight upstairs.
Mm.
And she damaged all her kids. All of her kids except for one, her daughter, has been in prison. And then what I noticed with me, like the narcs that I've dealt with, like the one in Atlanta and then my last husband, they all had freaking criminal records. And that's one of my standards with dating now. If you've been to jail, I don't want nothing to do with you, because that means you ain't got no problem going back.
Ooh. Well, see, now you know you grew up and now you realize let's not do that. That's interesting. So what other similarities did you find in them, like personality wise? Did they look even somewhat alike? I mean, they did?
Two of them had a bald head. But the similarities were the prison tattoos. And they're
Mm.
built like the prison, you could tell a prison tattoo from a tattoo done out here. And like their body builds, like, because I guess you ain't got nothing else to do but work out all day in prison.
Yep. Eat, sleep, and work
And
out.
eat, sleep, and work out. And they were real. I'll tell you this, with a narcissistic man that's been to prison, what I know to be a fact, in prison, you're taught to manipulate to survive.
Right.
When you come back out here to society, that's not an on and off switch. That becomes ingrained in you. So now they're master manipulators of women to get what they want. They'll tell you everything under the sun, because they need either some money, your car to drive, a place to stay. They're real manipulative. And dealing with those last two narcs that I had, that's what the situation was pretty much. Because now, like my ex-husband, every woman he's dealt with after me, it's been the same scenario. The woman always had her own place and her own car and a job, and he ain't have to do nothing but date her for 30 days, and honey, he'd be moving right on up in there.
Wow.
Yeah. And these women, and he always said he liked older women. These women are like in their late 40s and early 50s. He's running this game on.
And how old is he?
He's 39.
Okay.
So, but see, that's been the thing. He always said he liked older women. And I think, like, if you see some of these women, you would definitely tell that they had some self-esteem issues. And I know, because that was my problem. I had been broken down so badly, and I didn't even realize I had been broken down, like, by boys and men since even elementary school. Like in elementary school, I was bullied by boys so badly. That's why my son, if I even catch him looking at a woman or a girl in a disrespectful manner, or he's getting ready to twist his face up and say something messed up to her, my son is 6'2" and I'm 5'3". I'll have him hemmed up like this in the corner by his shirt. You're not finna do that. Yeah, I'm going there. But
Good
it
for you.
starts as a child with the predatory behavior with these boys, and it carries over into adulthood, and everybody thinks it's cute. And oh, it's cute. My son got 3 or 4 girls calling the house. That's not cute.
Wow.
You
And it's
know,
like most of those little girls, they think that they're the only one.
oh yeah, they think that, and that's not the case. But I said that to say it starts as a child, like from being not allowed to have boundaries, not allowed to voice your opinion, and being broken down. And by the time it's just like throwing a little lamb out there in a pit full of wolves.
Exactly. Okay, so now that you got to make, girl, I'm telling you, woo, you guys are just, you ladies been through it.
Yeah.
Okay, now but you brought a different aspect to it though, talking about the prison part. That's different. I don't think we've really had anybody talking about that too much in this series yet. So now tell us now, Shayla, you got, and all of these things that you've learned, all these different experiences, when you sum them up, what kind of lessons did you learn that you could teach, that you could share with other women that might be approached by one of these charming, smooth kind of dudes? What's your recommendations?
If it sounds too good to be true, it is, honey. It is. If what he's saying just lights up your world and y'all only known each other for a month or two, these men are not the nice people they want us to believe they are. There's some type of benefit or a gain in it for them. It's not, and the first thing, before you fall for this game they're running, ask yourself, what's in it for me? Because he has everything to gain, honey. You have everything to lose. You got to look at that. And so when they come along like being charming, don't fall for that. Don't believe what they say. Don't believe what they say, and always do a background check, because most of these charmers, yeah, they got prison records.
Yeah, that's kind of, ooh, that's interesting. Did you ever find out what they was in there for?
Yeah, they were violent charges, not towards women, but it was like armed robbery and some other stupid stuff. It's just stupid. You want to, instead of going to go get a job, you want to go take something from somebody else.
Well, it's easy money, so they think, but then you're going to spend 20 years behind bars or whatever, 10,
Mm,
whatever. Shoot, a week
yeah.
is too much for me. I'm just like, I can't do it. I'll be crying like a baby. Oh, my mommy. I need my mama. Girl,
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, so now say that you're in a situation and you're already, he's already charmed you, but you start seeing these red flags, then what? What's your recommendation for that?
Time to go. Red flags or hell knows.
So what kind of red flags might you warn somebody about? Okay, we got the charming part, the prison part. Anything else?
The red flags are, another one is always a sob story.
Mm.
He's real charming and sweet, but he just got the worst luck in the world. Everybody did him wrong. Everybody failed him. He's the victim. Okay, and then the other thing, listen out if he always like mentions, look at, if, because guys like to talk about their exes. Listen to that. Listen to that. If every failed relationship was because of somebody else or the other party, it's usually the reverse. You got to look at the common denominator. Men will never admit that they have screwed up, ever, and especially not a narcissist.
Yeah, no, they can't do that because they're perfect. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? You're mistaken here. There's got to be the mistake. Yeah, you're right.
And then somebody that think he look better than you. And this is how I learned. I don't want no
What?
man that think he look. Auntie Deb, let me tell you, my ex-husband, he would get up in the morning, he'd be all in the mirror more than me. He'd be like, oh, he doing all this. He like this. He like, oh, you's a fine MF. Oh, you look good. I
No,
look
he
good.
didn't. No, he
Yes, he
didn't.
did. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He was like, I look good.
Did you laugh?
I was like, something is wrong with him. I said, something is wrong with him. I don't want no man that think he look better than me.
Yeah, that would be a problem. That would be a big problem. Oh my God. Well,
And
girl, this has been
another,
unbelievable.
yes, it was unbelievable. And my last red flag would be, look at his credit history. That needs
Mm,
to be discussed, his credit history and his finances, because it goes back to the charmers and the manipulators. They'll tell you, oh, it's again another sob story, a hard luck story. Oh, I've been trying to rebuild my credit, but this happened and that happened, and they want you to open up and talk to them about what your salary is and your credit score and your lines of credit, because now they're going to tweak the story some kind of way next time to where they get something out of you,
right.
and you'll never get a dime of that money back.
See, I'm not giving nobody a nickel. Like, I'm just like, Can you buy me a pack of gum? Nope, that costs $1.99. I'm not doing that. That's too much. I was like, that's $2. $2. No, girl.
And narcissists always tend to want to come back to what was their grade A supply. That's my biggest tip. Once you're done with somebody, you shouldn't even be accessible to them. They shouldn't have your social media. They should be blocked from your phone, your email. When you're done, you're done. It doesn't matter how it happened. Y'all two are done. That's it. Don't make them. I've had, ex-narcs try to message me and come back. The one from Atlanta, matter of fact, had the nerve to inbox. He's still dusty as hell. Inbox me on Facebook, showing me pictures of his girlfriend. And I'm like, okay. And then he sent me a picture of a Mercedes truck. And so me being smart, because I'm a real smart aleck, I messaged him. I said, oh, is that your car or hers? He said, oh, no, that's her car. I said, well, why? I said, show me your wheels. I don't care about what she's driving. I want to see what you got now. And then he sent a message back talking about, oh, I'm about to get something now. I said, goodbye. Hit the block button.
Girl, you should have sent him back a picture of one. Remember those 1990s little big wheels that the kids used to ride? Send it back. Oh, this more your speed home, Skillet. This you right here. You can freak that out and put, some rims on it and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. I went through it with these men, but now, you know what? I will say I'm glad that I went through it. I'm going to tell you why. Because my daughters will not be thrown out to the wolves. My 17-year-old, she does not play. She don't play. If a guy approaches her, like the other day, she said that she was taking the garbage out and some guy approached her and he was like, hey, you got a boyfriend? And she just looked at him, cut her eyes and turned around and he was like, I'm talking to you. And she was like, yeah, and I'm ignoring you. I'm 17. Goodbye.
Oh, this was a grown man?
And he was old in his 40s, gray hair.
Get out of here. Oh, grandpa? Good for her. Yeah, she got to stay away from them old perverts.
Mm-hmm.
They're just the worst. Oh, I'm so proud of her. Look at her. Got her little lingo and stuff. Her attitude is in check.
Oh yeah, she's an honor student and she has 14 college credits and she's going to go to college for engineering.
Oh my goodness. God, I know you so proud.
I am.
Oh, look at you. Congratulations, proud mama.
Thank you.
That's good. Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
It's like you ladies, I'm telling you, it's like every time I do one of these interviews, I get like chills because it's like, it's such an amazing group of women. And you just don't know, interacting with somebody with some words in the chat room or something, you don't know who these people are, but this personal contact and actually, because I know the screen names and stuff, and a lot of you have been around for years. And then to actually get to see you and talk to you and learn about you and stuff, I'm so impressed and just so blown away. And I just feel so lucky that all these wonderful women found their way into my world. It's just been really kind of amazing.
I agree. But
well, girl, I want to thank you.
Oh, no problem. And one last thing, I'm harder on my son than I am on my girls.
Well, he should be. He's supposed to be a man.
Right.
Is he the oldest? He's the oldest, right?
He's 13. He'll be 13 in September. But
oh, that's right. Okay, the daughter's the oldest. Okay.
Yeah, I'm real hard on him because our society is always hard on girls about being fast and all. No, it's these boys. Because this especially in a Black community, these mental illnesses and these behavioral issues and this narcissistic personality disorder is running rampant, and mine is not going out there like that.
Well, he would have, you and his big sister as a model of, what doing the right thing can bring to your world. So let's hope that you have some good and positive influence on him. But good, keep your foot up his butt. It's like, no, you ain't gonna be out here being dusty.
No,
we're not having it. We're not having it.
No.
Good for you. Well, it's good. Again, I want to say I'm very happy that you submitted your name to participate in all of this. And I'm glad I got to see you and meet you and talk to you.
Me too. I feel this just made my night.
Well, made mine too. So you tell your daughter. I say I see her on the page.
Okay, all right.
Okay, give your babies a hug for me. They say they have
I
a
sure
superstar
will.
mama. They don't even know
Thank
it.
you. Oh, thank
They
you.
don't even know.
Oh.
Okay, I'll talk to you later, girlfriend.
Okay, good night.
Good night.